Hey, Zane Gang, Dead Spikes here. How are you guys doing? I hope you've been well. Here I am with another Borderlands video with you. I just did the DLC. I had a whole lot of fun, and I made a new level 57 build. I hope you guys would enjoy. In case you have never watched one of my build videos today, the way that I like to make them is I like to persuade you with a little bit of gameplay, show off the build a little bit, show you how it works, try to make you want to use it, and then I'll go over a very in-depth breakdown of every piece of loot I use, on top of why my points are distributed the way that they are. If you have not yet, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel for some more content like this. Come stop by my stream. The stream is pinned in the comment down below. I'll be farming lots of loot since the red chest event is going on right now. If you want some free loot, go hit up my Twitch. It's in the pinned comment down below. Make sure to follow. You can catch me when I'm live and get some free loot. Let's jump right into this video. Here are our modifiers for Grave War to try this build out. We got shock damage and weapon fire rate, so we are at neutral modifiers. Let's test this beauty out. Come on. There we go. That was an extremely fast Grave War kill. Way faster than a Lyuda would have been. Alright, time to do my favorite boss to kill, Agonizer 9000. We do have a little bit of a positive modifiers here, but you'll get the same results no matter what you have. Just get a nice corrosive cut spin in. Bam. See, I overkilled that part. I could have killed him in easily like half that magazine. Bam. Agonizer 9000 with this build. Let's have some fun at this part. What crackin'? Let's show this build on a little bit of bridge action up here to show that it can add kill extremely proficiently. And those of you who have done the takedown plenty of times, you should know this is probably one of the hardest ad killing sections of the whole game. And this build does it like absolutely nothing. Like you're on easy mode, killing level 5 enemies at level 80. That's exactly what this is like. They don't even know what hit them. Not even hurt, nothing. Just absolutely shred multiple enemies at the same time. Alright, let's get this last dog here. He's jumping around. There we go. Alright, let's go showcase this at Wotan. Here we are on the legendary Wotan himself. The only invincible in the game at the current moment of this video. Can we take you down with this DPS Zane build? We shall see. Oh, you see a shield there? And I'm using a corrosive cut spin? Isn't that a little bit weird? It doesn't matter. You're over damaging. No need to put a shock cutty on. No ads even spawning because we're going through the phases so fast. Oh, some ads spawn. I was a little bit slow on this one. My bad. Let's go up top and finish him off. Got cryoed. Definitely the worst element to deal with when playing Zane. Don't matter. Doesn't even... Oh, watch this. We can redistribute this part. That's pretty cool. What Wotan head? I don't see what you're talking about. Can we reach him fast? Ugh. Second too late. Don't jump again. He's gonna jump again. He likes to spam until he dies. Well, not really. It's like 3 jumps or something when he stops. One more, I bet. Last jump for you, Wotan. And there you go. That's a takedown kill with this DPS Zane build. Let's go over the build. Alright, guys. Let's go over this build. This is a pretty fun build, and it does everything in the game fine. It does slaughter shaft fine. It does the takedown fine. It does boss killing fine. It does everything easily. I mean, what more could you ask for? One build you can just do everything in the game with? You're pretty set if you come and try this build out. It is pretty gear heavy and gear dependent. You need some nice stuff to run it, but at least you'll know what to go and farm for to try to make a nice perfected end game kind of build. this does require the DLC as well. Let's go over it. DLC 1 and 2 I do recommend for this build. We don't know what DLC 3 has to offer yet, but I threw in a little bit of DLC 1 and 2 into this. Alright, I'm still new to 57, so I don't exactly have every item in the game that I want yet, but let's go over what I went and got and put together to make this build. So you saw the unseen threat. That's what killed Grave Ward extremely fast. This is kind of the new wedding invitation, it seems like, which that's what this thing is over here. Let's not go off on a tangent though. It's an extremely strong weapon to one-shot single target enemies rather than having to use your Cutsman or Redistributor. It's more or less for humanoid enemies or things you don't want your slow Cutsman going towards. That's mostly what this slot is for. Another good thing here is the Moonfire. The Moonfire is extremely good here, and Unforgiven would be really good here. A Sickle would even be decent. You kind of want some range. I think this is the best thing for the slot currently. It used to be Wedding Invitation, but sadly that does not go up to level 57. So try to go farm one of these. It's a very good weapon. Go for that Sentinel Cryo 100% to fit the build a little bit better. For my right weapon, I very rarely switch this out. I'm using the Corrosive Cutsman for pretty much absolutely everything in the game. The only time this is switched out is if it's a very flesh boss that you can't crit. If it's a flesh boss that you can crit, Unseen Threat will do it absolutely perfectly, but the Fire Cutsman you need for things like Tyrene. So that's the only time I switch this out, is if I need to kill Tyrene or the heart at the end of the DLC. I'll use a Fire Cutsman here. Otherwise, the Corrosive Cutsman pretty much stays on the whole time. Sadly, Shock Cutsman's not very viable anymore. There's nothing in the game that has too big of a shield that you need a Shock Cutsman for anymore. So really only switch between Corrosive and Fire here. Most of the time Corrosive. I run the Corrosive Cutty through the whole takedown just fine. I even break the Valkyrie shield with the Corrosive Cutsman. I break Wotan's shield with the Corrosive Cutsman. This does everything big damage you need to do. You use this for targets that are larger that you can deal a lot of damage to with the slow moving projectile Cutsman. Just make sure to note, when you are shooting a Cutsman, you try to make the most distance you can. When using Zane, make sure you're moving at the top speed you can, so the furthest away you can, and the top speed you can at the current moment to get the maximized Cutsman damage out. Another great Zane weapon, this is specifically a Zane weapon, is the Redistributor. So a lot of these other weapons around this character and such can be used on different characters. You can use all these other guns on Amara and Flak and Moza, and they'll still do pretty decent, but this gun right here is Zane's gun. It was pretty much made for Zane, it feels like. It doesn't perform nearly as good on the other characters as it does as Zane. It is the Redistributor. I'm sure you know well about it if you know anything about Zane. You get this from farming the takedown. It is a pain in the butt to get this weapon to drop, so I suggest trying to find a friend or someone to hook you up with it, but if not, just keep grinding those takedowns until it drops. You're going to absolutely want the Radiation one with the Cryo Sentinel. The reason you want Cryo Sentinel with Radiation is because it covers all the elements in the game: flesh, shield, and armor. Covers all of them easily. It's neutral across all the platforms, so it'll kill. Now, the reason it is super powered with Zane is because the way this thing is supposed to work is every 7th shot's supposed to be amped and chained to the next target, kind of like a Brainstormer. When you put your barrier on, you amp every single shot, so every single shot chains like a Brainstormer. That's why this is the god weapon of Zane. It's amazing. Make sure to get a hold of one of these. I never take it off. This is the weapon that is the most interchangeable. I've been playing around with some of the new guns. The Old Iridian is pretty fun. It's not exactly reliable because it's going to keep switching elements every time you reload, but it is a very fun gun. A Nighthawken is extremely good here. This is kind of like my fight for your life gun is what I put here. So a Nighthawken would do pretty good. Some of the newer weapons would be doing pretty good. Flame Diddly and some TDOR stuff. I like the little Yeety a lot too. That was fun to use there. The EMP5. This Clairvoyance is pretty good too. The Hell Shock has been used a lot lately. The Hyper Focus is another great one. Maggie would be great here. Just something to get yourself up if you do go in a fight for your life. It's very rare that you do, but as if you do, that's what this slot is nice for. The Iridian does it pretty well itself too. The element of the gun doesn't matter since it's going to keep switching, but I mean, I'm going to have Radiation right away. Messy Breakup is my favorite shield to Zane because you get a little drone that'll shoot. That drone will shoot and it will proc Seen Dead. Pretty self-explanatory. You want Seen Dead to keep proc to keep your kill skills up. I don't have a 57 mod yet, but this 53 is amazing. When you're going for a Seen Dead mod, just look for the +2 playing dirty. After that, I would go for magazine size down on the bottom. If you're going for even more optimal, you're going to want 2 playing dirty. You want pretty much exactly what these stats are: SMG damage with mag size. The third one is up to you to decide, but SMG mag size +2 playing dirty is a very perfect Seen Dead and extremely rare to come by. For your grenade, I use the Stormfront. Another very good option to use is the reoccurring Hex. The thing is you want a grenade that you don't need to aim, and both of these grenades do it very well. The reoccurring Hex will go around and seek targets, kind of like your Sentinel, while the Stormfront just kind of throws out a bunch of grenades on the target that you're currently shooting at. You absolutely are going to want the anointment that says on grenade, thrown weapon, grenade, and action skill damage are increased by 25% for 6 seconds to stack with this build. We'll go over it when we get into the skill tree, but these are the 2 best grenades I do ask you to use. Radiation Hex would work pretty good too, but I like the Stormfront the most, so I'm going to keep my Stormfront on. It is very viable with this build. Now, by the way, the grenade is kind of important. For your artifact, you're absolutely going to want the Snowdrift Victory Rush. It's just the best kind of artifact to use as Zane lately. I do have to play with a little bit of the new DLC ones, but it's just so nice to have the movement speed and the extra damage from killing badasses, and then on top of it, I get mag size. So if you're going to go for a Snowdrift Victory Rush, you're going to want mag size on the bottom, absolutely. The other 2, it's up to you to decide. I didn't exactly get the perfect one. Mag size is the biggest thing that I'm worried about, and that's what this is running right here. Now let's get into the skill tree. I like to take off my class mod so you can see that the points aren't all mixed around and stuff. Alright, so here's what I'm running for my skill tree. This is very similar to some of my older builds. Now, I'm strange. I'm different from other people who like to make Zane builds because I absolutely hate putting anything into green tree. I do for some niche builds, but for the most part, I think green tree's wasted. There's not a whole lot of damage to put in here. It's mostly survivability, and Zane doesn't need a whole lot of survivability. So I think they're wasted points. There is some perfect perks like Confident Competence, but I'm not going to go into that whole tangent. I just don't like green tree. That's why I don't have anything in it, even though I do use barrier because I have to for the redistributor. Blue tree is pretty self-explanatory. This is where all of Zane's damage pretty much comes from his kill skills. So we have 5 in all the damage type of kill skills: 5 in violent violence, playing dirty, cool hand, violent speed, and violent momentum, just to maximize and capitalize on the most amount of damage Zane can possibly do. On top of it, we throw that 1 point into salvation to get that life steal, which will keep Zane topped off almost all the time, as long as you're running with both kills, both abilities going and all your kill skills proc. 1 point in salvation is plenty. You're dealing more than enough to fully cap off yourself. Drone delivery is really good. This is going to proc that Stormfront we were talking about, that grenade anointment to give you that extra damage. That's why we're running that. We're not exactly using it for the grenade's actual ability. We're using it to proc the anointment, and on top of it, the Stormfront or any grenade you put in that slot's going to proc Seen Dead to help you out a little bit more. It all meshes together pretty good to keep your kill skills running. You only want 1 point in a good misfortune. You don't want more than 1 point unless you're running a CCC build, which this is not a CCC build. The reason I say that is because every time you're running good misfortune on your Zane and you don't have CCC on, your duration return is always going to go down to 1%. It's going to constantly be at 1% until you reuse your abilities again. So putting it up to 3 at 18% to start, it's not going to make a whole difference because you're going to be back down to 1% pretty fast anyways. Now, if you do run CCC, the skill I'm talking about right here, it will actually reset that timer every time you proc CCC to make your action skills stay longer. So if you were to do that, putting 3 points into this is a little bit more viable. Let's get into the last tree, which is the Digiclone tree, the doubled agent. Now here's where our extra 4 points win. It's actually almost extra 7 points from my older builds. We threw it into some grenade stuff to add some more longevity to our Seen Dead and our kill skills to keep going, and on top of just getting a little bit more anointments going off and such. So here's what we're running: Synchronicity and Borrowed Time, of course, just to keep our action skills always up. Donnybrook is an amazing damage skill, so we had to make sure that was on. Praemunitious is great to have that extra mag size, extra damage. You don't have to reload as much, which isn't exactly what you want, but you know, Supersonic Man is self-explanatory. You get that super speed. But here's what's different is I got pocket full of grenades on. This doesn't proc as much as it should. You don't exactly need 3 points into it, but there's not a whole lot of other places this can go into. So I put 3 points into this. You could maybe put 1 point into this and then 2 into duct tape. I'm gonna play around with it a little bit more, but here's what I'm starting with so far is I'm putting 3 points into this and 1 point into duct tape mod. Now the way duct tape mod is it can throw a grenade every time the first bullet of your gun goes off, which is great because it's gonna proc that Stormfront anointment and give you some more Seen Dead. I think putting this up more would help you out a little bit more, and on top of having pocket full grenades, so you always have that grenade regeneration to give yourself a little bit more of anointment and Seen Dead longevity like we talked about. So it's a pretty cool combo. That's where my extra points went. I thought about it and I think I like how it's set up, but I'm gonna play around with putting more points into this and more points into this, switch around, see which one I like more a little bit, and we'll go from there maybe in some of my next builds. But there you go. That is pretty much the whole build right there. Screenshot what you need to, put it in, try it out. It's pretty awesome. Here's my Guardian rank. It's pretty high, obviously. That'll do it for this DPS Zane video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel for some more content like this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Zane Gang, Spikes out.